Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Todd Rossnagel, Director of Communications for the Louisiana Conference of the United Methodist Church. We wanted to come on today and give you an update on the ERT team from Louisiana, really ERT teams from across the country responding to the tornadoes that have affected the mid portion of the United States. As you know, December 10th, a massive tornado leaving a devastating path, starting in Arkansas, moving its way across Tennessee, and of course into Kentucky, a 250-mile path of devastation across south central United States. And one of the hardest hit areas is Mayfield, Kentucky. And that is where we find today Reverend Bob Dyke from Louisiana, who joins us along with Robert Craig from Tennessee and West Kentucky, ERT teams from across the United States in Mayfield, Kentucky. They join us now on this Zoom call to give us an update, not only on the situation in Mayfield, but also an update on the community, as we are, of course, as you know, just days away from Christmas. And a shout out to Don Allen from First United Methodist Church in Denham Springs, who's handling the camera duties. Gentlemen, how are you? How is the church? You're at First United Methodist Church in Mayfield, and more importantly, I guess the question is, how is the community?
Well, the community is resilient. Obviously, you see the good in folks come out when disaster strikes. So neighbors are helping neighbors, and then we've got wonderful folks who are early response team trained in our conference as well as outside of our conference that are answering the call to serve, and we're so appreciative of the connection and showing Christ's love in action through chainsaws and tractors and tarping and just offering meals and just loving on our neighbors. So things are going well. The community's still in shock, but moving forward. And it's really, we're seeing in the midst of the hopelessness and the disaster, we're seeing resurrection begin to take place. It's going to be a long time before we're fully recovered, but you see those small signs of hope in the meals being offered on the street corner, or in the hug of a neighbor, or the tarp on a roof. It's neat to see how the good comes out in folks in the midst of this devastation.
Bob, I remember getting the news from you in an email that you were headed up there along with so many from Louisiana, and here we are just days away from Christmas. It was not lost on you that this is the time to go. There's always a time to go in the midst of a disaster, but in the days leading up to Christmas, this is a real blessing, not only for them, but I suspect for you as well.
Talking with our team members who from churches from across Louisiana, from Shreveport all the way to Thibodeau and everywhere in between. These team members are giving up a little bit of Christmas, but we came up here to hopefully give some people a little bit more Christmas up here because they're missing a whole lot. And I thought of it in the middle of the night last night that the shepherds came to see the babe that was born, but the message that came to them was in the dark, in the night. And we're not angels appearing before shepherds, but maybe we can bring a little bit of light this Christmas week to folks and bring a little bit of hope.
Well, guys, I know you are a blessing to everyone up there, and they remain in our thoughts and prayers. There's absolutely no question about that. I was wondering if Don could maybe show us where you are. This is the church. This is FUMC Mayfield, correct? Tell me a little bit about what we're looking at here. Where are you, and what is the devastation?
We're in the rear of the sanctuary. You're looking at the sanctuary. It fell into the basement, and the roof was taken off, and then the floor collapsed into the basement. The pastor and his wife were in the basement, and the most sunken part is actually the hallway where their disaster plan tells folks to shelter. And something told Pastor Joey to move out, and they went into a different closet because if they stayed in that hallway, they'd be under that rubble that you were just looking at.
Wow. So that is amazing. What is the plan, Bob, going forward from here? I know you mentioned earlier kind of some chainsaw and some debris cleanup. What's the plan over the next couple of days from the folks in Louisiana and across the country as they respond?
Well, locally here, we're in the hands of Robert and his people to do what they need and where they need us most. Every morning we get up and pray the prayer before we go out to a work site. Lord, send us to the people in places of greatest need and for your purposes in their lives and in ours. So we just trust that we're here at the right time to whatever they need. Today we helped salvage some things out of the church. We were doing chainsaw work this morning and been out assessing work that will be on after the next couple of days, long term, what can people do? And there will be more teams coming, I'm sure, in days ahead. Prayer support, financial gifts are very important. Robert probably has other things that come to mind.
Well, both those, the power of the connection in folks coming and showing up, helping us to do this relief work, and then into the long-term recovery, the rebuild part of all these communities. But financially, that's the best way to give right now. These communities have been overwhelmed with the generosity of people around the nation with all the material needs that they could probably ever use when it comes to water and clothes and those kinds of things. But financial donations are going to help make the long-term recovery happen, where insurance falls short or any kind of federal support falls short to help families to recover. And we'll be here as the United Methodist Church to offer that long-term recovery work through whether it's disaster case management or volunteer management or construction management, whatever each community needs. Our conference will stand up and be a part of that. And your support and your prayers are going to help us do that. So thanks for what you're doing.
Well, guys, we lost your video signal. I know that video signals are hard to come by in the midst of a disaster. So I know you can hear me and we can hear you. Thank you so much for everything that you are doing. Robert, you remain in our prayers. I know Bob will tell you this. Get some rest. It is a long road of recovery ahead for everyone. Bob, thank you so much for carving time out of your very busy schedule in the midst of that to join us. And of course, give thanks to Don, who is handling the video. I think your video signal is back up. Again, thanks to both of you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Todd. And thanks for telling the story over and over again and keeping it out there in front of the people. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks again. And God bless everyone in Kentucky, in Arkansas, and in Tennessee.
Thanks, Todd. And Merry Christmas to all of our brothers and sisters in the Louisiana Conference. Thanks for all you're doing.